Janet Yellen is apparently one of the candidates to be the head of the Federal Reserve. That's an incredibly important position. What would make her literally one of the most powerful people on earth. But the word out of the Obama administration is that she's basically running number two. Running number one, as most likely to get that position, is Larry Summers. Now, Larry Summers is, of course, the former top economic advisor to President Obama. He was also the Treasury Secretary at the end of the Clinton administration when they deregulated the banks, which turned into a giant, epic disaster that even President Clinton has apologized for. Now, the person who hasn't apologized for it is Larry Summers, because he's unrepentant and he thinks you just do whatever the banks tell you to do and then they pay you millions of dollars later. Oops, did I say that out loud? Well, of course, Larry Summers has been paid millions of dollars by the banks for speaking fees, consulting, etc., right? So now, President Obama considering him seems honestly mental. But, of course, he does. And in fact, when House Democrats challenged him in the White House on that issue, however meekly they did so, he was outraged and defended Larry Summers to the hilt, saying, I know this man and I can't believe people are attacking him, and if you're attacking him, I'm more likely to support him. That was nice to get him animated to support, of course, a massively conservative person. Now, Janet Yellen, on the other hand, as we've told you in the past, has actually been very prescient and has in the past said, hey, we got to watch out for the housing bubble. And then we had a giant housing bubble that burst. She said, watch out for the shadow banking where they do trades that are on the books. That's exactly what wound up happening. She said, watch out for the derivatives. The derivatives are exactly what blew up. So she was right. So that's a huge disadvantage for her in Washington, D.C., and especially in the Obama administration. Now, to give you a sense of how overwhelming the support for Yellen is, 30 top economists came out saying it's got to be Yellen. She should be the pick of President Obama, and we think she's going to be because they're under the mistaken impression that President Obama cares about facts. So now, today, interestingly enough, even a Republican came out in favor of her, mainly because of his disgust for Larry Summers. Pat Roberts, a Republican from Kansas, said, quote, I wouldn't want Larry Summers to mow my yard. Okay. So he says he can't get along with anybody from either side of the aisle. He's a very abrasive guy. He thinks that he's right about everything, and of course, he hasn't been. He's been wrong about everything. So why in the world is President Obama against Janet Yellen in favor of Larry Summers? Now, he relies on Larry Summers for economic advice, even though it hasn't served him well. He continues to do that, and President Obama apparently, it's not one of his strengths, the financial field, and he used Geithner or Summers for a long time as a crutch. I understand that. It's, by the way, an enormous failing of his. But wait till you find out, according to Neil Irwin of the Washington Post, why they're also a little worried about Janet Yellen. Now, given her qualifications and what an important position she already held at the San Francisco Fed and the fact that she was right about it, why would you have reservations? Well, let's find out. Obama's inner circle of economic advisors has little apparent enthusiasm for her as Fed chief. So there's Washington Post reporting that the rumors that they were not excited about her apparently are true. Now, again, it's just one report. You take it for what it's worth, okay? So now why? They said, quote, she's more of her own thinker within the institution. Well, how dare she? You're going to think for yourself? Is that what you're going to do? No. The banks do the thinking for you. They send in robots like Robert Rubin, Tim Geithner, and Larry Summers, and they have groupthink, and that's what you're supposed to do. A mind of your own. It's a very dangerous thing inside the government. Continuing. People dealing with her within the Fed have viewed her not so much as Bernanke's emissary, but as her own intellectual force within the organization. How dare you? You're supposed to say, yes, sir, absolutely, sir. Yes, please crash the economy again, sir. But she wouldn't bow her head to Bernanke. She had her own thoughts. Very dangerous. Obama can't handle it. My God, can you imagine if somebody had a thought that wasn't sanctioned by the top banks in the country? And now apparently there's a second reason why they're against Janet Yellen, again, according to Neil Irwin from the Washington Post. A second and related reason that Yellen's leadership style isn't a great mesh with the Obamites is also one of her strengths. She's always meticulously prepared, a careful and systematic thinker who chooses her words carefully. Oh, for Christ's sake. Now that's a disadvantage? She's a very careful thinker. We can't have that around here. I mean, if you think about it, you'll realize we actually made the banks that were too big to fail even larger. They're larger now than they were 5 years ago when Obama took over, when they were so large that they crashed the world economy, and then we had to bail them out because they were too big to fail. Now they're even larger. 60% of so-called Dodd-Frank, which is already horribly weak regulation, has not even been implemented, even though it's been over 3 years. But my God, if you're actually thinking these things through, oh, that could be an issue. And then finally, another fault of hers, she's methodical, not manic, and the prevailing style of the White House insiders advising on the decision leans a bit more toward manic. All right, well, there we have it. We have a full transition. Let me show you what happened to President Obama inside the White House. And there he goes. And it is now complete. Because now we're actually celebrating being stupid. We're right back into the Bush White House. As I've told you before, the Bush folks are now already celebrating, calling this Bush's 4th term. Not only can you not challenge the banks and be an independent thinker, but if you're intellectual and think things through, that could hurt you inside the Obama administration / the Bush administration. If you weren't already embarrassed, this would be a good time to start.